Uh,
Podcast time.
yes.
As in, I've started the vid.
Welcome, everyone, to Housecoat Podcasting. I am Takeshi Yamato, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer,
Yo.
and 117 Jorn.
Hey!
Today we're doing something a little different. Well, Ron and Jorn are doing something different. I'm just watching again.
Good day, Madam President. Let's not be hasty.
Today we are doing Stellaris. It's an interesting game. Civilization builder.
Though that is not what we are actually going to be discussing today.
No, not really.
In the background to an extent.
Yeah.
No, the primary topic of this is not the game. It is as a general subject matter.
Yeah. Science fiction.
We're basically going to talk a little bit about science fiction, and while we do that, we're going to be having Solaris playing in the background.
Wherever the hell Jorn is.
Might have spawned close to each other, we'll find out.
Ron's in the north.
Situation log has been updated.
Let's see, I think that's northwest corner of the map, up near the very edge.
More or less.
But, yeah. Science fiction's been around for
System survey concluded.
a lot of years.
Situation log
A
has been
long
updated.
time.
Yeah.
Construction completed.
And there's been quite a few evolutions of the franchise in that time frame.
Genre.
Yeah. Yeah, genre, yeah. But yeah, it's a very nice setting to work in, and all sorts of various there are all sorts of variations. You've got hard science fiction, you've got space opera, you've got
Construction completed.
a bunch of different things. Hard sci-fi is, well, it wouldn't be anything this grand. Hard sci-fi, at best, just sticks to a single star system.
The Expanse is a massive example of this, and arguably the most successful.
Yeah. And for tabletop RPGs, there's a setting called Android that is also an example, though that might also be an example of something called of a subset known as cyberpunk. Now there's an actual franchise / setting called Cyberpunk 2077 being a prime
Anomalous
example of
readings
that.
registered.
Oh, I must stay.
But
I said the lolly must stay.
System survey concluded.
Yeah. The But yeah, well, the thing, well, the yeah, it still counts somewhat as science fiction because it is fiction that follows the rules of science. Stellaris here would be more an example of the space opera because it's more soft science fiction. They bend the rules of physics a little bit.
Essentially, like, Stellaris is basically like if you for when you want to play as your like any like big space empire, like the Galactic Empire or United Federation of Planets, or pretty much anything really like that.
Yeah, basically, Stellaris is more. Space opera is you have faster than light travel and you have an entire galaxy to work with.
And one of the things that sort of like helps differentiate that differentiates soft sci-fi and hard sci-fi is usually a very particular thing, which I just demonstrated, that being a faster than light travel.
Yeah.
Really, I thought it was me. It was me everyone was watching.
Yeah, it is. It is, and Ron's been doing that a little bit by having his scout ship go around and explore nearby systems. But yeah, this is. But yeah, with the sci-fi. But yeah, soft sci-fi or space opera is definitely much grander in scale. The actual science of behind something isn't quite as necessary to the overall storyline.
Construction completed.
And another prime, other prime examples of space opera are Star Trek and Star Wars. Those are the big two, basically.
Let's not forget Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Just saying.
Well, yeah, but... And then there's the difference between Western and anime. Because... the styling can be different. The styling can be different there as well. And... Well... honestly, a big part of that is the primary form of anime sci-fi, the humongous mecha genre.
Shoot me.
But yeah, I mean, mecha aren't quite hard sci-fi because, as Ron has mentioned to Jordan and myself countless times, the mechanics and physics just don't work in real life.
Yet.
Yet, as Jordan says. We will get to that.
A bitch.
Yeah. We will...
We're not talking about that, Ron. Start an argument.
Yeah. We might get more into the details of that if we do a specific mecha video. But...
just be warned, if you actually want us to do a talk about mecha, be warned, there will be a lot of yelling.
System survey concluded.
Yeah. And I will try... I will try not to be involved in said yelling. I will be more trying to be the voice of reason, trying to keep things civil. But... yeah. let's just say Ron and Jordan can get kind of heated on that topic. And leave it at that for now.
Enter orbit. Alright.
But, yeah. The sci-fi genre we might as well talk more about space opera for right now, since that's sort of what we're doing. As space opera is, well, as we stated, you have the whole galaxy to play with. Well,
I'll be right back. Hang on.
you have multiple star systems to play with, not necessarily the whole galaxy. It depends on the setting. I mean, faster than light travel is always a key part of the system, but how that works varies depending on series to series. Like, again, the big two, Star Trek and Star Wars. Warp drive versus hyperdrive. Warp drive basically forms a bubble of subspace around the ship, allowing it to basically
completed.
it forms a bubble around the ship, allowing it to dip into the realm of subspace and just travel faster than light. While hyperdrives seem to tunnel into a completely different dimension of reality. And that's not even counting some of the more esoteric forms of... but then there's other forms in various other franchises that can go from the fantastic to the esoteric to the downright, oh my word, what is going on here? Like, the mass relays from Mass Effect. Those are an interesting way of achieving Mass Effect is a very interesting FTL system. I mean, with Element Zero, you can reduce the mass of a ship to where its regular engines can propel it at faster than light speeds, which is good for traveling between close-in star systems or between planets in a star system. But when you want to go really far, really fast in Mass Effect, you use the mass relays, which are basically giant slingshots. Oh, and Stellaris seems to function on the hyperspace thing, where you have lanes or tunnels through the galaxy that allow you to travel.
Research concluded.
That allow you to travel in specific directions. But yeah, like I said,
Research concluded.
Element Zero and the mass relays in Mass Effect are an interesting way of getting around the FTL issue. And then we get to one of, well, the Warp. Warhammer 40k. There was a video. There's a picture. There's a poster I saw once
concluded.
that talks about that. I was talking about faster than light travel, and how it's the key defining point of a space opera, but how it works differs depending on the franchise. Like Star Trek, their warp drives form bubbles around themselves that allow them to dip into subspace to accelerate past light speed.
System survey concluded.
And then there's hyperdrives like Star Wars and Stellaris, where you have to tunnel through basically another dimension.
Anomalous readings registered.
And there's usually fixed routes for it. And then there's some of the more esoteric stuff, like Element Zero and Mass Relays. From Mass Effect. You know what I mean, Jordan, right?
Yep.
And then there's Warhammer 40K's The Warp.
In other words, hell.
Yeah. There's a poster that talks about that kind of thing. FTL in science fiction. Star Trek, we use warp drives. Star Wars, we use hyperdrives. Warhammer 40K, we travel through hell. And that's... well, yeah. Anyway, that's sort of the basics on
System survey concluded.
Then there's Battlestar Galactica with its jump drives. Point-to-point instant transmission, instant teleportation can only go a certain distance per jump.
Construction completed.
But but it's very versatile because you can, as long as you can calculate out the precise coordinates, you can jump anywhere. Even right into the middle of an enemy formation to cause all sorts of havoc.
Or in the middle of a planet's crust.
Yeah, or into an atmosphere, like the Adama maneuver. I'm sure a lot of people.
Pointless little maneuver.
I'm sure a lot of people have seen that on YouTube.
Anomalous readings registered.
This is going to take a while.
Anyway, that's mostly what...
System survey
That's most
concluded.
of the FTL methods that I know of. Do either of you have any... Do either of you two have any more examples?
Sorry, what was that?
FTL drives.
Do you know of any examples beyond the EZO and the warp drive, hyperdrive, EZO and the mass relays, jump drives, and the warp?
All of those cover pretty much all the bases.
Essentially, like, I can't really think of anything other different.
Fair enough. Oh, wormholes count to a degree, I guess. I mean, those are more fixed. You have one endpoint, you have another endpoint, and the wormhole basically allows you to travel between them really, really quickly. Like, the main example of that, and Ron's probably going to be a little annoyed that I'm bringing this up. Or
it is what it is.
Yeah. The Bajoran wormhole from Deep Space Nine connects the Bajor star system with the Idrin star system in the Gamma Quadrant, over 70,000 light years away.
Construction completed.
Its discovery opened up basically a brand new frontier for Starfleet exploration, as well as opening up a brand new can of worms in the form of the Dominion.
As well as the usual geopolitical nonsense.
Yeah.
System survey concluded.
and some, yeah. But yeah, all FTL basically falls into some of those five categories I talked about, with the examples I gave. And obviously some are, none are perfect. Each has its limitations and its positives. And some are sort of setting
Construction
defining.
completed.
Again, the warp, for one. I mean, when your primary form of faster than light travel is flying through hell, for all intents and purposes, your setting is, well,
A bit extreme.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
Yeah.
Construction completed.
FTL's not really is the only thing that makes us a setting
Knowledge is
a
the
hard
key
or
to
soft
the
sci-fi. There are
universe.
other little things here and there.
yeah. And FTL is sort of the key one, though, because we haven't figured that out in real life yet. We might, but it'll take us like hundreds of years, if not thousands.
Well, I've got myself a little empire.
Huh?
Oh, he's built space stations. He's basically expanded his reach from his core system to about 3 others, and it looks like he's getting ready to build
Construction
another one.
completed.
Yep. He's got up to 5. He's up to 5 systems now. Yeah, but yeah, weaponry is another differentiator between hard and soft
System
sci-fi.
survey concluded.
Because, well, let me put.
We have
Let's just be
detected an
blunt.
anomaly.
Energy weapons.
Knowledge is the key to the
Ener-
universe.
We have lasers in real life, but they're not really weapons. They're just tools. And they're very precise tools at that. Bringing
System
them up to
survey
the-
concluded.
In a hard science fiction setting,
Construction
you will not
completed.
see lasers, primarily, as a weapon. Mostly, you will see projectile weapons. On a personal combat scale, that means you have the standard pistols, rifles, machine
Basically,
guns.
System
now.
survey concluded.
Yeah. If a bit higher tech. Like magnetic weaponry might be a little more prolific. Yeah, magnetic weaponry might be a little more prolific. Like the android setting, for example. That's my main thing. You've got your standard slug thrower, chemical and explosive slug throwers, but you've also got magnetic weapons, and in Android they come in two different forms: basic flechette weapons and heavy weapons such as Gauss and basically heavy Gauss rifles. I mean, in the weapons section of my book, talking about the android setting for weaponry, the Gauss rifle is basically an anti-material sniper rifle.
Okay.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
To paraphrase the Mythbusters, you hit what you. If you're shooting a flechette weapon. If you're shooting a flechette weapon, you're shooting a bunch of little darts.
Knowledge is the key to the
and
universe.
some of these weapons are. There's pistols that just fire one dart at a time, or auto Fletchers, which are basically machine guns that fire these little darts, and then standard Fletchers are more like shotguns. Fletcher is the android terminology for a flechette weapon. But yeah, the Gauss rifle, the Gauss rifle, if you fire that thing at a person, you're gonna help them, basically.
Why am I in a nebula?
I don't know. But anyway, the android setting also does have some form of laser weaponry,
Colony
but
establishment has begun.
if a hard science fiction setting has any form of energy weaponry, it's crude.
Exceedingly.
Yeah. The beam doesn't travel very far at all before dispersing, and it's...
We have
and while it
detected
can
an
be...
anomaly.
And while there is probably some visible energy involved in it, it's also very thermal.
The special project has concluded.
A laser cannon
System
is
survey
more
concluded.
a laser is more likely to set your target on fire than to punch through anything. This is not the case with soft sci-fi or space opera. In a space opera / soft sci-fi setting, energy weapons are the norm. They've basically replaced slug throwers as your primary weapon.
Construction completed.
Yeah, there might be some projectile weapons around, but
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
usually it's energy weapons.
System survey
And-
concluded.
They are very advanced, capable of firing the beams of energy up to fairly long ranges, or even pulses.
Sometimes this works against our protagonists,
Yeah.
such as the case with the Borg in Star Trek, where energy weapons are so ubiquitous,
We have detected an anomaly.
you get the idea.
Yeah.
That sometimes the best option
Anomalous
is to
readings
invert.
registered.
Yeah. The Borg. Now,
Construction completed.
on the topic of weapons, that's
Anomalous
just
readings
personal
registered.
scale. Vehicle, going up larger scale basically just upsizes everything. You've got,
System
again, in a
survey
hard science
concluded.
fiction setting, laser cannons, if you have them, are going to be crude. You're going to have like
We
heavy
have
Gauss
detected
rifles
an
or
anomaly.
even Gauss cannons if your ship if you've got it big enough, or heavy flechette weapons, which are by that point you're basically at a cannon firing great you're basically up to the
Anomalous
scale of a
readings
cannon
registered.
firing grape shot.
Or the Expanse model, which is just what we got now, only caseless.
System survey concluded.
Yeah. And again, in soft science
System
fiction
survey
/ space
concluded.
opera, energy weapons are more common. Now, in vehicular combat, projectile weapons are
Anomalous
still a
readings
thing,
registered.
but those are more missile-type weapons than guns.
Knowledge is the key
Like,
to the universe.
For example, in Star Trek, you have Starfleet. Starfleet has phasers. Klingons have disruptors. Various other polities have various
System
other
survey
weapons.
concluded.
And most people, and then your physical weapons are are torpedoes, photon torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, plasma torpedoes, etc.
Anomalous readings registered.
And Star Wars, you've got laser cannons, you've got ion cannons, you've got proton torpedoes.
Anomalous readings registered.
What?
Construction completed. System survey concluded.
I think I got it. It might have been on my end. Someone posted on one of our Google Hangouts or on.
System survey concluded.
No. You might have. Find out.
Well, I don't think you set any space age civilizations.
I see a ship going around.
System survey concluded.
Hang on 1 second. Gotta pause this real quick. Okay, resume. Research.
Anomalous readings registered.
Okay.
Engineering. Intriguing.
We have detected an anomaly.
Also, I will mention
Knowledge is the
that
key to the universe.
oftentimes if you're dealing with another thing with science fiction is how it deals with alien life and such. Again, hard science
System
fiction
survey
you might
concluded.
not find too much of it, whereas with soft science fiction, especially space opera, it can be fairly commonplace.
Anomalous readings registered.
Like it can vary between things that are incomprehensible to describe, or it could be something that's very human and very readable.
Yeah.
System survey concluded.
And one of them's a carabiner.
An alien nation is hailing us.
Huh.
I thought we shut those off.
You shut off the starting spacefaring civilizations, but that's not going to stop primitive civilizations from achieving spaceflight.
Caravaners are
Knowledge is the
relatively...
key to the universe.
Just don't piss them off.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, you also have fallen empires too. That can be another thing. It just ancient civilizations that just doing ancient civilizations and that kind of thing.
Designing a new boat.
System
Right.
survey concluded.
I'm almost wishing I picked another,
We have detected an anomaly. System
Boat
survey
scan.
concluded.
and that's you.
Roma Vita!
Alright, let's open diplomacy.
We have detected an anomaly.
He was gonna
No?
An alien nation is hailing us.
He was
And
gonna
then there's then another thing that sort of differentiates is, well, special abilities and such. Like, in hard science fiction, you're not really going to see too much in the way of things like space magic or psionics or anything like that. It's all primarily focused on the laws of physics as we
We
know
have
them.
detected an anomaly.
If you go into softer science fiction, then yeah, you might see things like psionics or various esoteric abilities that you might not that might not be something that we have seen. Like,
We are being hailed.
He was gonna
Alright, time to start building up my borders.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, psionics are definitely are definitely
Ship
a
upgrades
thing that
applied.
might be
System survey
found
concluded.
in a soft science fiction or space opera setting. Sometimes it's limited to a specific species, like Star Trek with the Betazoids and, to some extent, the Deltans and the Vulcans and the Romulans. And maybe the Vorta as well. But sometimes it's something that anyone can use. And then there's proper space magic. And
Situation log has been updated.
I have to admit, Star Wars is sort of one of the premier cases of space magic, what with the Force and everything.
Anomalous readings registered.
Oh, come on, give me my stuff.
What stuff?
Oh, he's working on various things, and there we go.
That's not what I meant. I want my bigger guns.
Right. Yeah, bigger guns mean bigger booms.
Well, in this case, more variety in my weapons.
Yeah, that too. But yeah. No boom today? Boom tomorrow. There's always a boom
Anomalous
tomorrow.
readings registered.
Sometimes in this setting, you'll come across a character that you just can't help but like and quote.
Or want to
Like-
shoot.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, Susan Ivanova from Babylon 5. I will admit, I've only
Give us
really
gonna be-
seen clip of B5. But but Susan Ivanova is a fun character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're not talking much. There's a good reason for that.
Yeah, we're kind of focused in our modes at the moment, though. Regarding Susan, like my family's actually become a bit of a fan of her ever since I got my folks into Babylon 5.
Ah. Yeah,
Alright,
and then
where's my explorer?
Yeah, and then of course there's the characters you want to shoot, and then of course, as Ron said, there are some characters that you want to shoot. Again, going to Babylon 5,
System
we
survey
have Bester,
concluded.
the guy in charge of
Psy-Core.
yeah.
And former crew member of the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah, played by the same guy who played Pavel Chekhov in the original series and some of the movies. Yeah.
I might have to start off here soon because I think dinner's getting ready.
We have detected an anomaly.
Well enough.
But yeah, some of the games are, some things are fun, interesting with how you, it can be an interesting game when you're watching television or movies, and seeing just who who you recognize. Now, in live action stuff, that's that's simple. You see the person
Knowledge
and you're
is
like,
the key to
oh,
the universe.
that's they played this person in a series I like. In animated, in animated shows, it's a bit different.
Animated shows you get away with a lot more.
Yeah, with animation, it's all you have is voice to determine to determine actors and actresses. So with animation, it's less. Oh, I know that person. And more that voice. Where have I heard that voice?
Research concluded. System survey concluded. Research concluded.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm trying to bring up the conversation. I'm trying to keep the conversation going, but
We're kind of in the zone right now.
yeah. And not too much for us to and that means there isn't really too much for us to talk about.
Granted, I'm already seeing a problem with how I made my empire, though. Because I decided to do a Shattered Ring World startup. But apparently, when you do that, there's a side effect.
Oh?
When you make it so Ring World's your main habitat, it means that your habitability modifier sucks for any other planets that aren't the Gaia worlds. So unless I can find a Gaia world, I'm kind of screwed. I'm a little screwed for a bit until I can improve my species' habitability modifiers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Construction completed.
Been a while since I last played Stellaris.
I think this is a good point to end it.
All right.
Yeah.
Game.